Greetings, my name is Dr. David Fakunle, and I am honored to be asked to submit an entry to Films for the Feminist Classroom. And the entry that I will be providing is storytelling as a liberatory practice. The beauty of storytelling is that it allows us to share the truth. And this is the truth of our society, whether you are looking at the United States or really any other place in the world. But as we tell the truth, it allows us to see the situation not just for what it is, but what it can be. So I ground my work as a public health professional, certainly in acknowledging the reality of the situation, but also what my goal is. And my goal is not equality, it's not equity, it's liberation. Equality is something that we can get to once we implement a true equity framework, because we have to acknowledge the disparities in which many communities and many of our fellow human beings live. Once we get to a situation of equality, then we can strive for the ultimate goal, which is liberation. And simply what that means is living life of your own determination. So, for example, whatever David wants to do, David gets to do because that's what David wants to do and how he chooses to live his life. And that is what I want for everybody. And therefore, in my view, storytelling really helps us to get closer and closer to that goal. So why storytelling? Solomon Ibn Gabriel said it best. The first step in the acquisition of wisdom is silence. The second, listening. The third, memory. The fourth, practice. The fifth, teaching others. Storytelling is a universal art form and a universal science. It is something that every culture around the world does. There's power in our voice. It is not just our physical voice, but also our figurative voice. Voice is truth. Voice is perspective. Voice is how you see the world. And when you have a chance to express that voice, there is a lot of power that comes with it. As important as it is to share our truth, it's important to listen as well, because listening is acknowledgement. Storytelling is a two-way street. You have a teller, you have an audience. Both are valuable in a relationship, and ultimately that makes it mutually beneficial. There are very few things that feel like everyone wins, but storytelling is one of those situations in which everyone can win. So as I said before, I am in public health, and I explicitly operate at the intersection of arts, culture, and health. So one of the questions that I get a lot, and the questions that we explore in this field, is why and how do arts and culture work in health? The short answer is it just does. It's inherent to our human experience. Arts and culture are things that we engage in, that we participate in. So it's very much an experience. It's not something that is generated from an equation. So there's this interesting dynamic being a scientist as well as being an artist and a culture bearer, where we really understand that to truly know the impact of arts and culture as it pertains to health and well-being, you have to be a part of it. There's no paper, there's no talk, there's no experiment that's going to get you any deeper level of understanding beyond the experience itself. It's something that we feel. It's something that we know from our human intelligence. Many cultures don't separate arts, culture, and health. It's all part of the same space, the same spirit. So this idea of arts and culture for the sake of arts and culture is not kind of the typical presentation of creative energy. So as much as I do focus on research and education and policy and all the ways that we can advance health and well-being, it's always most important to me to do it because I am the product of arts and culture. It has always made me feel good to be connected with those people of similar experience, whether it's race, nationality, history, whatever the case may be. Just connection is what's critically important with arts and culture, and that does make us feel good. Therefore, it's a part of health. And the fifth wave of public health demonstrates that. We have moved from the structural to the biomedical to the clinical, social, and now the cultural. So what is it about us? What is it about the communities that we keep that are related to our health and well-being? So what makes a story a story? Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. The plot is how you navigate from the beginning to the middle to the end. Within our stories, there are critical elements that we can all utilize to make our stories that much more impactful. such as the title, the characters, the sceneries, the challenges, and the resolutions. Within storytelling, there's reason, responsibility, and respect. The story should make sense. You have a responsibility as the teller to make sure the message is received by the audience. And of course, respect your audience, respect the story, respect the space of storytelling. 5 tools of storytelling include voice, body, mind, imagination, and connection. Certainly you can speak your story, but you can also dance your story, you can sculpt your story, you can paint your story. It's all about activating your audience's mind, their imagination, but ultimately connecting with the audience. When you are able to connect from one human being to another, it makes all the difference in understanding how we navigate this world. So this is a little bit of my story. As important as the public health aspect of my life is, all these other aspects of my life are just as important, being a husband, being a father, being a son, being a brother, and being a culture bearer, because my culture is what I bring to the space of public health, what I bring to the space of academia, and it has made all the difference in the impact that I've had in those spaces. So I am grateful to serve as an example of what can be when it comes to being your genuine self, representing who you are and what's important to you in any space, and having that be appreciated and respected. And in some cases, exactly what's needed. So epistemic justice is combating what we've been led to believe is knowledge. It's not just in the textbooks, it's not just in the presentations, it's the knowledge of our elders, our communities, our families, our culture. All of that provides knowledge. And we are now in a space where we have to bring that knowledge to the forefront. So I've had opportunities in my career to do that with Discover Me, Recover Me, utilizing the African oral tradition as a healing practice for people who are dealing with manifestations of trauma, such as substance use disorder, alcohol use disorder, interaction with the criminal justice system. Everyone has a story to tell. People should feel empowered to tell their stories because there's a lot of truth and a lot of wisdom behind those stories. And also story mapping, taking those stories and connecting them with the physical locations, the geographic locations that are meaningful to us. Why is home home? Why are there the places that we occupy on a consistent basis? What is the value behind them? So these were really my opportunities to elevate, again, the knowledge and wisdom of the people. Public health is people health. It is about humanity and elevating the health and well-being of us. And I say us because I'm included in public health. And one of the most powerful ways that we can do that is by elevating the narratives and the truths that people bring with them, cultivated by our manifestation of in every aspect of our work. The lion's tail, the lion's side. This Zimbabwean proverb really brings it all home. Until the lion tells his or hers or their side of the story, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. The opportunities that we have to share our truths are critical because we know that there are so many spaces where our truths are suppressed, ignored, disregarded as not important, and we know that that's a lie. So any chance you get to tell your story, any chance you get to cultivate spaces where people can tell their unapologetic truth, please, 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 please do that, because it can make all the difference in the world for not only another person's life, but your life as well. So I thank you for these few minutes to share a little bit of my story, and if you want to keep the story going, there are many ways to contact me. I am open and eager and willing to be of any help that I can. My schedule always seems to get busier and busier, but I always seem to find time, so never hesitate to reach out to me. Again, thank you to Films for the Feminist Classroom for this opportunity to contribute and tell your story, share your truth. It's exactly what the world needs. Peace.